Let's go!
The Mortal Kombat patch came out, or not even I think a lot of us were just expecting like bug fixes and stuff like that. So to have them just drop what is pretty much giant balance patch #1 with a ton of quality of life fixes. They added like, you know, the Koth lobby to Forever King to the Koth lobby, which is great. This is a pretty crazy balance patch. Right, we're gonna go over some of the things that are in it to sort of talk about, because I'm gonna be real, and this unfortunately does follow suit with how NRS has approached their patches in the past, which is to pull the trigger really quick. But if I had to make a face appropriate for YouTube thumbnailing, it would be something like they went ham. Let's talk about it a little bit. You know what? Let me fire up the PlayStation just so we can show off a couple of examples just of the absolute nutty stuff that's in it. I think a lot of people are going to be happy about some of the things in this game. However, after seeing so many fighting games go through shotgun style patches, usually the inherent response is not the actual answer. And usually, like, the better approach to this stuff, there is some stuff that was really annoying in MK1, 100%. For sure, there is some stuff that was really annoying. However, this is not the same as every NRS game that has come out since Mortal Kombat 9. This is an assist game. This is a game where if you take out, like, one assist because it's really good with this other character, suddenly all the other characters that don't have much lose their shit. And it's like, oh, well, you know, all the other roster members that are obviously not top tier. Like, hold on a second. There was a tweet that came from the twins from Ketchup and Mustard that I felt in my heart.
Why me? Why me? Why me?
And yeah, I mean, obviously the high tier characters are using a high tier assist, and it's really good, making their high tier ass super good. I feel like a lot of the roster that was like, oh yeah, some of these assists really helped out in this situation. And it wasn't just Cyrax. Cyrax is like the biggest culprit of all of it, right? That's really felt around the whole roster, because once again, Cyrax isn't just used as a individual character. He assisted many other characters to sort of like level them up a little bit in some way. I feel like this is pretty crazy, because a lot of these decisions and a lot of the changes that went in, this would have been weeks ago, dude. All of these balance changes, you have to understand how a patching process works. This would have been weeks in the works, where they already were sort of pulling the trigger within like a week and a half of the game being out, and then going crazy, and then bug testing and setting the patch through certification and doing all this stuff, and then it eventually comes out, right? So you have to realize is that, you know, this was we're pulling the shotgun, boom, on a lot of stuff in the game. Feels like that goes against what MK1 was supposed to be. Let's just talk about it a little bit, because without perspective, I think some of this is kind of confusing. This is the stuff that was inherently figured out and was obviously, was pretty obvious that, oh yeah, we're going ham on this game. Let's go. Big thing that happened was obviously to this bitch, which was clearly like the best assist in the game. It's funny because, you know, there was argument that this bitch was the best assist in the game. That this chick for sure was the best assist in the game during the first week. And then you got really good assists like Sector, and Frost is still mega good. Sub-Zero's obviously mega good. Darius was, you know, arguable. Depends on the team, depends on the situation. Goro was good, but crazy recovery. What's nuts about the patch notes as they release them, it seemed like, oh, so some things got fixed on some assists. Like Serena actually got buffed, believe it or not. They made her better. They did an entire system-wide cameo nerf. So the big one is obviously Cyrax. And there's definitely other cameos to use that people will be venturing into, you know? But the Cyrax situation is pretty nuts, because this was obviously a meta assist. And people are like, this is in response to the last tournament or something like that. I'm like, no, This was in the works for a long ass time, right? This was in the works for a very long time. Every single version 1 NRS game is absolutely awful competitively. Upspin is still the same thing and it recovers about the same. Not so bad. So you would think that like, oh, so obviously horizontal spin is too good, right? Horizontal spin, every other character got the spins now. It's super good. Here's what they did. It completely drains it. And they made it so that even if you do not have full bar, you still can't use it. I don't know, like something along the lines of like 20 to 24 seconds to come back. It's a big fucking cooldown, dude. For a lot of characters that relied on the horizontal assist to sort of make approach and stuff like that, it's very rough. Pretty clear that the majority of characters that are in the game, a lot of them and a lot of the really fun shit in neutral comes with ambush assists that attack. So you can sort of like call out your assist and then move in and then do stuff. Like that's the whole point of an assist game, right? Well, the weird thing about this is that this wasn't the only thing. It was everything else. This also got heavily scaled in damage. The upwards one didn't change too much, but now it just does like 10 to 15% less damage than it did before, and it scales the combo after more than before. Here's what's wild about the whole thing. What we're looking at overall is an entire system and roster-wide nerfing. I've heard a lot of people, and the one thing that was very striking was like a lot of the people that paid attention to MK11 patches, right, and were really like worried that, oh, hopefully MK1 doesn't turn into another MK11. A lot of people are like, oh god, this is the same shit, like no fun allowed. My biggest gripe with MK1 overall was not enough ambush assists, man. Like, why is there so few ambush assists in the game that are actually, like, good? The ones that were good are clearly the best shit in the game. Like, there's just usability. I feel like every cameo should play like Serena. I really do. I feel like every cameo should have as much functionality and work as good as Serena, because Serena now feels like a perfect cameo. As I was saying, there's, like, an entire system-wide cameo nerfing. And here's what you can read. There's a lot of individual character stuff, and a lot of stuff is getting fixed. A lot of damage scaling. Now this causes more damage scaling. Combo out of damage scaling. You're going to read that like a whole bunch for a ton of characters where it's like, oh, this is just going to do less damage than it was before. And it kind of feels like for the majority of characters in the game, for a lot of them, there seems to be a 10 to 15% damage reduction for almost everyone. This is all taking place from very early on. Like, they made these adjustments weeks ago when the game was like 1 or 2 weeks old. So most characters get a bit of a damage reduction. Reptile gets a little bit of a damage increase, but it's like 1 or 2%. But here's the interesting thing. You're going to read this a lot. Increase the recharge delay of a move when used more than once in a combo. Increase the recharge delay of a move when used more than once in a combo. Increase the recharge delay of a move when used across almost the entire board of all the cameos. They made the cameos come back slower if you use them more. I understand the shotgun to the face of Cyrax. I get it, right? Shotgun to the face of Cyrax made sense. He obviously was super good. I get that. But like every single character, like almost every cameo in the game, if you use 2 cameos or use like the same move twice in a combo or something like that, then you're getting punished. You are getting punished for using your cameo. MK1 was supposed to be the game of like freedom and creativity, and we want to create a game that has more options and stuff like that. This is an assist game, dude. I think I would have preferred if obviously they took a bit more time with the patch. Maybe we just make some of the cooldown time on the other cameos better. Maybe some other things that are in the game actually do just work better, or maybe we should have more ambush cameos. Like, that's what I was hoping. I was hoping that, hey, this might be a sign that maybe we should tone down. I get nerfing the characters, because obviously if like Raiden and Baraka and, you know, some of the main roster are crazy good, yeah, the characters you can tone down, right? Because the whole point of an assist game is to have the assists benefit the characters. Now you have to find new options, right? If your shit, if obviously Cyrax was good for everybody, then I think that's a sign that, okay, then some of these individual characters maybe did need some scaling toned down. It just comes across as like the opposite. I just feel like it's a less creative game as a result. It's just toning most things down. I don't think this game's bad. I actually love it. I actually think this game is incredibly fun. But to me, with this entire change with all of this shit, I feel like overall, the entire game just goes down a little bit. Here's the thing. I'm still going to stand the shit out of this game. This is my favorite NRS game outside of Mortal Kombat X. Literally is my favorite NRS game. I have played more characters in this game inherently that are not DLC than I have any NRS game since I've been covering this shit since like Injustice 1. So to me, I don't think I would be even, if I didn't give a shit, I wouldn't even be talking about these patch notes. I really wouldn't. And I hope this is not a gut reaction going forward, that the rest of the game is just going to be like this. I really don't think so, because this is what's getting a lot of attention right now, is this like knee-jerk reaction to all this stuff. But they did do a lot of stuff. Like, thank God they fixed like unlocking the chests in the shrine. They did something about that, thank God. They made it so that you can pin moves in practice mode, thank God. They added Forever King to Koth. Like, a lot of these things just shouldn't have been there at the start. There's a lot of really good things in here. I'm going to jump online right now, and I'm going to fire up a lobby finally with the Forever King mode and actually play people. I can't wait. It's going to be great. They added ping indicators. They added the ability to mute opponents by default, like all that stuff. It's problems that should have never existed. Long story short, it's painfully clear that there was some compromises made to get the game out at this time. It was painfully clear. So I don't get it, man. I don't. Again, I think this is a really fun game, and I just hope that the future of characters and balance patches that they approach later is adjusted in some way. And I hope instead of taking everything down a little bit, which is kind of what they did, it's just like an announcement, oh, let's bring it all down a little bit instead of bringing it up a little bit. And that's kind of like where I feel like a bit of the negative reactions might be coming from overall.